It's nice to see how many of the men are using them, and it seems to be you're finding a lot of things you were looking for.
Where'd you find that hat?
Cool hat. We woke up this morning. I think one of us asked Robert what time it was, and he said it's time to pray. That Rumi poem. The thing about the tracking skills, the thing about the nature awareness or nature observation is that it leads to a state of relaxation. And what's beautiful about that is that it's free. Sorry, Robert. Circumvent the man here and you just head bush. You don't even have to pay the entrance fee to the park, because you could do it in your backyard. This morning when the elders prayed around the rock there, we found the center of the world. As we began our little ceremony, the squirrels were chattering and the blue jays flew into the trees all around us and began to chatter. And you could tell something was going up. They noted it. And as our prayers grew more, not more intense, but as we grew stronger, as we got more into that space, the chickadees came out and a woodpecker called, and it was very noticeable. It was nothing coincidental. So to notice these things brings you to a state of attention, and of course attention can bring you to a state of awareness, and that awareness gradually leads to a relaxation. I haven't mentioned the various mind states that we're talking about, but Tom Brown used to say what we call normal awareness today, what we call reality or normality, was to the native people of old an altered state. Our normality is characterized by these waves they call beta waves, and the beta waves is like a chop on the ocean when you can't see down into the bottom. You want to try and get into an alpha state. That's where the water gets clear and you can see to the bottom. Well, some say, used to be in an alpha state quite a while. And these skills will lead you to an alpha state. And that state is a relaxed state in which you can learn many things. And your body is quiet. The beta state was called by these Apache Indians that said that's the wolverine who runs around and knocks his shins on everything. That was the translation of the word they used for the state of mind of these European people that they met. Okay, so we're looking for a relaxed and aware state. That's what these things can bring you to. We ended with that safe plus secure plus comfortable equals death. And what I'd like to start with today, and if you would, just sit up and just look up for 1 second. In the next tip is just called wide angle vision. Now, wide angle vision is nothing more than to say that I could see right to the back of Robert's head right now. While I'm looking at you, I could see the back of his head, and I could see Robert Bly writing. I can't make out the expression on his face, and I could see John here ahead of me. I could see the back of the room. I could see my feet. If I didn't have this hat on, I can see right up here, and that's wide angle vision. I'm not focused in on one thing or another. This is the vision that you get. You can test your own when you go outside. You just take your fingers out to the side and establish the edges of your peripheral vision. And when you're out bush walking, this is how you see hawks and animals and the flick of a deer's ear, because the rods and cones on the outside of your eye are actually more able to see light and dark and movement. So when you're talking with the old people, the elders, and it seems like they're looking far away or they're not looking in your face, they just know that it's better to keep your eyes wide open so you could see all the things that are really happening. This wide angle vision is something that you do with your eyes, but it is actually a thought process. It's a way of seeing the world. And when you do open your eyes up like that, you could see the ground, and you don't need to look at the ground as to where to put your feet. And that frees up your attention, because you've only got a finite amount of attention. So if you want to see something different from what you've been looking at, you've got to move it around. You've got to shift the attention and let your feet become your eyes so that your eyes can begin to see more. So what I'd like you to practice today in terms of tracking is work on opening your eyes up so that when you look here, you could see the man here and the man here and down and up in a very big circle. If you see something interesting within that wide-angle picture that you'd like to focus on, now you bring your eyes in and focus, and now you come back out. And that's, again, that macro-micro movement, which keeps your vision fresh. Okay? Wide-angle vision.
John?
Yes.
Is it true that when you're holding that vision, that you start to see in black and white? Is that what that's about?
You'll see. No, it's pretty Technicolor actually. What comes in, you'll see colors that you've never seen before actually, because you'll start to see little flashes of things that are tripping off very low levels of light readings on the outside of your eye. Yeah.
Is that itself an alpha state?
That in itself can lead to an alpha state. Yes, it's very relaxing. It's very nice. So when you're sitting out, you're blind in by a tree and you just sit there. That's what you do. You just open your eyes and you watch how everything's beginning to move. And it's easy to see the concentric rings then because you can actually see 2 or 3 at the same time, and then you get the interplay. The next one is pretty important. It's called dead air space. Dead air space means that in every room you go into, or every clearing, or every gathering, there is a place in that room where people don't tend to look. There's a place in this room where you could stand and nobody would even hardly know you're there. Some people get very good at this camouflage, especially in these gatherings. That's what I do on the first night, is I watch who's really good at finding the dead air space. And if you don't do that, on the 4th day of the conference, a guy comes up and says, I really like what you've been saying. You've never even seen the guy before. Okay? And the way it works when you walk into the room is that you first are like a tourist, and you walk in and everything's new, and you glance around and you look like this. And then the second day you walk in and you just give a cursory look around, and the third day you walk in, all you do is look and see if someone's in your seat. Now, anybody who knows how other people see can hide in the dead air space. This is how you camouflage in for animals. You notice where a deer would look for his own safety to move across a clearing, and then you sit where he doesn't look. So you camouflage in a place that's really quite open instead of in a spot that's he knows could be dangerous, and he checks very carefully. And what I would suggest is that some of the things you're looking for on the inner level are hiding in your own dead air space, because they've learned that they cannot be seen there. Okay? Another name for this is called automatic vision. And again, since these came from Tom, and I've added a few, he had a story about the Apaches. The Apaches did not always camouflage themselves when they attacked these forts. As a matter of fact, sometimes they wore red headbands. Because what they were saying was, it doesn't matter what I wear, I could sneak you any day. Doesn't matter what I wear. And what they would do, this one example, they would go outside a fort, and every day about when the sun's about there, this Apache would stick his head up over this rock. And all the soldiers, look, there. And then second day, there he is, same day. Third day. Fourth day, they're there waiting for that Apache, and he's just sneaking around the back. Nice. See? You begin to play with dead air space when you see how other people see. And if you're a tracker or a trapper, or the way the boy caught the golden bird, you note the ways of the thing you're tracking. You hide in the dead air space, and you play on their automatic vision. For each of us, it's different. A little bit different, but I know where mine are. I won't spot you guys out. I can see you though. So you don't always let the person who's hiding in the dead airspace know you know until it's time to reveal that you know. Okay. Okay. Don't think a feeling, really feel it. In other words, all the anxieties about the sweat and everything. The story that goes with this is the leader leading the people down this cold trail one day and just lets go that they're going to be crossing a stream. And everybody, oh my God, we're going to cross a stream, and the anxiety begins to mount. By the time the message reaches the back of the line, they're terrified and they're going, God damn, who the hell does he think we are? We can't cross a stream. We can't do a 12-mile walk. We can't do this. I can't do this. Doesn't he know we're fragile? My hell. And they walk through the stream, and it's a hot springs. And they're so hung up on thinking the feeling, they don't even see the steam rising in their... And they walk into a hot spring. And we do that so often. We think the feeling instead of just going into it and really feeling. You're cutting yourself off from the real, true experience. Yes?
I experience that sometimes when I'm thinking in my own mind a conversation that I'm having with someone that I want to have with them. And suddenly I pull that back inside of myself. And I think, if I meet this person, this is what I will say to them. And I just keep going on rather than...
It's a great way to circumvent your whole life. Yeah, because we had somebody come in the last conference. It was a couple times ago, the man from Holland. And he had spent his whole life, and he had a feeling he'd missed everything. He had been so involved in the feeling that no bastard can beat me down. Nobody can beat me down. And so he would think that feeling, and that carried him through. But he missed everything along the way. And this is another one. This is Thomas Carlyle. Tom used to quote him a lot. The tragedy in men's lives is not what they suffer, but what they miss. Yeah. The suffering only brings you good things. It trains you and makes you hard, makes you beautiful. It's the things you miss that's a tragedy. That you wouldn't live a full life and become who you are. I'm going to go quickly over two more, because I'm getting over time. Yes?
Really happens.
Like in the story. Go without time or destination. We're so time and destination oriented, A to B. It's the backpacker who's got to leave here and get there, and I did it 6 minutes faster than last time. Fantastic. The jogger with the wristwatch, checking the time. It's good sometimes, but every now and again, don't do it that way. Every now and again, just go out for a wander and let your mind follow the things that are there for you to find. And you're going to find the whole world was hidden just right out in your backyard or just over the fence in your backyard. And go without expectations. Don't go out expecting to find a bear, find a deer, find yourself. Just let it be. I know that we live in a watch world. I got a watch that says nighttime all the time. Go without time, destination, or expectation. And wander. The last one it's an old one, but maybe we missed it. Back in the old days, in the 60s, Baba Ram Das. You got to be here now. If you could be here now, then you are in what the Aborigines would call a dream time state. In other words, if you remember the past and you remember how things are supposed to be, the native people call it the original instructions which were given to the human beings. There are things to care for. There's a way to be. If you can remember that from the distant past, the beginning of humanity, and bring it into the present, then the past disappears because it's just an ongoing state. And if you act in that way and teach your children to act that way, you're taking the past and the present and you're projecting it into the future, and there's no future, there's just this ongoing moment. If you could be there, that is a beautiful place. That's the place where a tracker could get to. So that's the last tip, is be here now.
Thank you, John, very
Thank
much.
you.